Make me down a pallet on your floor. Make me down a pallet on your floor. Make me down a pallet soft and low. Oh, I'm broken, got no place to go. Been hanging around with good time friends of mine. Hanging around with good time friends of mine. Well, they treat me mighty nice and kind when I got $1 and a dime. Weary blues everywhere I see. Weary and blues everywhere I see. Weary blues everywhere I see. Hey, no one's ever had the blues like me. Make me down a pallet on your floor. Make me down a pallet on your floor. Make me down a pallet soft and low. Oh, I'm broke, got no place to go. Where I'm sleeping, back and shoulders tired. Where I'm sleeping, back and shoulders tired. Come tomorrow, I'll be satisfied. Gonna hop a fast train and ride. Oh, make me down. Pallet on your floor. Make me down a pallet soft and low. Oh, I'm broken, got no place to go.
Hey Dad, hey Jed Myers, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming.
Hey, Jonas Myers.
I don't think we've ever actually sat down for an interview.
Well, ask me anything. Here's your chance to interview your dad.
Our theme is The Stranger, and I was like, The Stranger, that's a book by Camus. And I remembered you telling me that Camus had played a big role in your decision to become a therapist, a psychiatrist.
That's true.
Where were you when you encountered Camus and made that course decision?
So I had been a poetry fanatic throughout my college career, and I was realizing that I'm in the driver's seat here. This is my life, this is my education. What am I going to do with my life? And I was resolving, kind of in the back of my mind, that I could continue to be enthralled with poetry, but it wasn't necessarily a livelihood. It wasn't a roll up your sleeves and engage with my whole self in a kind of on the ground kind of way. And I felt I better live a life, and then I can write about and my experience. But go live, go do something, go pitch in. But I didn't know how exactly. And then I took a course to satisfy the language requirement. But there was a fellow named Seymour Simches. He was a French professor, and he was a very hip guy. He agreed to take me on in an independent study course, and I could study French culture in any way that he and I agreed would be cool. And I said, I want to study Albert Camus. I want to study Albert Camus. I want to read his writings and get what he's about and do this thing. So I read essays and novels. When I read The Stranger, um, I thought it was a very odd, weird, psychologically interesting, short novel. Um, and I found myself weeping at the end of it, a little surprisingly. It's a moment where the stranger finds a kind of solidarity with the cosmos, a real beautiful secular spiritual liberation. It very much moved me. So then I went on to read The Plague, and The Plague, very relevant to the moment. A main character who's a physician finds himself in a town in Algeria where suddenly there's a real plague, you know. I think it's like the rats again, like biting people, and, you know, bubonic plague and all that. And it was, for me, a moving experience of a story of a guy who finds himself facing overwhelmingly troubling circumstances, and just decides to do what he can, knowing full well he can't do much, and knowing he might die doing it, knowing he's going to not save a lot of people, knowing it's going to just be a
Wow.
big wave of cosmic indifference and absurdity just washing on through, but he's going to do what he can, God damn it, you know. And again, very uplifting, very
Yeah.
inspiring, very moving for me. So anyway, that, especially The Plague, made me feel like I could roll up my sleeves in that way and maybe get in there and help where people are suffering and struggling. And
Yeah.
being psychologically minded, I thought I'll be a therapist of some kind.
Yeah, yeah.
So I thought I'd be a psychologist. And it wasn't until a bit later that I realized, no, I wanted to go to medical school, do the whole kit and caboodle, and be a psychiatrist.
So it was specifically, of all the texts that you read, it was reading The Plague and encountering someone's decision to kind of try anyway, try in the face of, you know, a set of circumstances that could lead one to nihilism, right? To say, I'm going to show up and do what I can.
Yeah.
And that led you down that path of being a healer of a kind.
Yeah.
That's-
And in a business where you don't really succeed dramatically a lot of the time, you might do some good and offer
Yeah.
some help and some encouragement and some comfort and facilitate somebody's kind of opening up to life more, or
Right.
you know, kind of suffering less. But it's often very sort of iffy and incremental and subtle and over a long time and
Right.
partial. So that spirit, that Camus sensibility, helps me with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do you feel like you've collected all of these stories and intimacies and you're carrying them with you in some sense?
I feel like my patients are my tribe that never has a tribal gathering except in me.
Wow.
And my tribe is a company of great teaching and great wisdom. And they've taught me so much about life,
Yeah.
you know,
Wow.
about what it is to be human
Yeah.
in this world. So I have this like kind of 360 kind of gratitude, you know, towards all of them. And the toughest ones have been my best teachers.
Hmm.
You know, I might grumble at them, you know, in the short term, but in the longer term,
Yeah.
I feel like they've shown me some things I wouldn't have learned otherwise.
You have had a long career as a psychiatrist. You're still at it. And in the meantime, you've kept writing, and I saw you when I was a kid kind of get more serious about your writing practice, and I believe that was after the terrorist attacks of September 11th. Is that right?
That's exactly right. And you were a part of that for me. You were a pivotal presence for me in
How
that.
so?
Well, you know, you and the rest of us were watching the television, and we were watching this awful, awful phenomenon of people having to either jump out of the window to their certain death below or be incinerated, certainly, in the next few seconds.
Yeah.
And it was an unbearable thing for all of us to witness if you really looked and processed it at all. It was not entirely processable.
No.
You know, but so what happened was we had emotions that we didn't know we were having. We dissociated to cope with what we were witnessing and went on with some recognition that this is terrible, but not quite letting it undo us, you know. Um, and in the days that followed that event, times we were just in the same space, going somewhere, doing something. Once or twice, if I recall correctly, you burst into tears, inexplicably. Inexplicably to you, to me, to I intuited what was happening, but it wasn't a stated conscious business, you know. But that really grabbed me in the gut along with what had just happened. And it made me swear to myself that I was going to just do what I could with my writing and my music
Mm.
to kind of connect up the hearts, you know, as best I could with the rest of my life. Therapy, poetry, and music are all creative processes, you know, and creative processes, no matter what the medium, all, I think, draw upon certain kind of elements, you know. They all have some things in common. You know, if it was a novel or if it was dance or if it was, you know, photography or painting or theater, you know, whatever it is, there's something about the creative process which is intrinsic across all media, all manifestations, and that's fascinating to me.
Mm.
And I think of it as salvational. You know,
Mm.
I think of that immersion in the creative process as something that's there for us, that we're capable of, that is restorative for us and reconnects us.
Yeah.
And you know, yeah. So it's all the same in a way.
Well, you got a poem or two for us?
Sure. At the end of the row of yellow and red Formica tabletops, a hunched man sits, face in the palms of his sizable hands. And I see that he's been served nothing. Do they know him here? Up front by the plate glass and register, a small morning crowd seems to amount to ballast of moral weight. While I'm here amid chips in this island cafe on a winter Sunday in time for the breakfast menu, alone in the stranger section, glad to have noticed arugula comes on the fried egg sandwich. I'm right by an old sash window, and out there, past the silvery lichened, gawky last of an apple orchard, a red-orange sheet metal roof tops a weathered cedar shed someone wants to preserve. I could ask up ahead, but I won't. I'll wonder, smithy, stable, shelter for pickers from elsewhere. Time has gone still. No wind, a haze gathered around us. I daydream the bent-over man rising slow to step out into that hanging whiteness, but he sits. I do imagine they know him, somewhat, and that what's happened must be spoken at times. A wonder, our feeling the weightless tugs at our eyes' slits, that dark-smudged denim shirt, a bristled scalp, nails jammed with the dirt of the whispering world. The earth's held this house close and brought it round out of the dark. This chest remembers to widen again. In pours the good air. The heart still knows to take its own share and offers up the rest. The blood down its deltas visits the countless cells. The muscles are fed. And on a wish for water they hinge the limbs. The bones ensemble stands out of its bed. By several footfalls toward the faucet, it proves possible to lower and turn the head. Part these lips at a small stream, and receive this clean gift of the rain needed to live? How can I be the fountain of my fortune through all the smoke and confusion? May my words find a current, this ink hold fast to its leaf as it floats to meet the prisoner, the gatekeeper, wanderer camped at a wire fence, kid who sleeps with the gun his father left him. Luck is a demon. How this day, like water, like air, can I enter your life? I can't see your face. I don't have your name. I don't know your despair. And this is our house.